Friends, I'm going to invite Mike Cunningham to come forward. And as he comes up, I will remind you in this sermon series, we have been hearing testimonies from people about why they are at Westminster. The day is coming, actually just next week, we're going to recommit ourselves to the work of the church with our prayers, our presence, our gifts, our service, and our witness. And so people are answering the question in worship, what does Westminster mean to you? Why are you here? And Mike Cunningham is going to share his story with us. I will also say a word. All of the testimonies in both services are going to be online. They've been so wonderful. I want everyone to be able to hear them. And there are different testimonies in each service. And so they're on our YouTube channel, and we'll be putting them out on Facebook as well if you want to see what's happening in the other service.
I was driving back to San Antonio from a summer working in Kentucky after my freshman year at A&M. The car I was driving broadsided a telephone pole at 60 miles an hour. My passenger and I popped out of the car, got up off the ground, not a scratch on us, alive but by the grace of God. I made my way to San Antonio, to my parents' house. There was a letter that had come while I was gone to Kentucky. The letter was from the registrar at Texas A&M informing me that I was academically ineligible to register for my sophomore year. I asked my dad what that meant, how I get back to school, and he said, it means you flunked out, kid. So I did what any young man in that condition would do. In the fall of 1968, I joined the Army. Served 6 years. After I got out, I went to Trinity University. They waived my tuition because of my service. I graduated from Trinity with an undergraduate degree in microbiology. I could do the work. College was not a challenge to me. A year later, I found myself at Texas A&M University College of Architecture in a Master of Landscape Architecture program. I did all my coursework, took me a couple years. Left with a 3.8 GPA, turned in my thesis, waited a couple days. The head of the department came and got me. They said, Mike, we cannot accept your thesis, it's rejected. They gave me a couple of pointers about how to fix it up. I went back to my desk and started fixing it up, turned it back in. A couple of days later, the head of the department came and got me, and same thing, Mike, we cannot accept your thesis, it's rejected. They said, we'll make you a deal. We'll give you an undergraduate degree in landscape architecture right now, and you can go on and get on with your life. I said, no deal. I came here for a Master of Landscape Architecture degree. I'm not leaving without it. I'm out of money. I have nowhere to go. This is all I have. They said, all right, go back. So I went off and worked on it again. A couple of nights into it, 3 or 4 in the morning when I usually worked, a voice came to me. It looked dire. It was bad, I tell you what. Everything was on the line here, and I wasn't having a winning hand at the time. A voice came to me, and all got still and quiet. It was a divine voice. The voice said, Mike, you're going to get your master's degree. And when you do, I want you to go out, and I want you to help the people, and I want you to help the land. And stay tuned. I may have another mission for you later on. So I did. I came to Houston and stepped on a friend's couch, scanning the want ads day and night, got my degree and all. Everything was hunky-dory, except there were no jobs for landscape architects. There was nothing. 2 weeks of the Chronicle and Post. I even looked at the green sheet. Nothing. And then one day an ad appeared in the paper. Wanted landscape architect. Harris County Parks Planning Department. Master's degree preferred. Huh. So I answered the ad, went to the interview, got the job. Spent a good amount of time working for Harris County, working for myself, working for HISD. Made a lot of parks. So my thinking was that if you take the land and you take the people and you put them together, you have a park. So I spent 35 years making parks. Very fulfilling. When I retired, I wandered up to Westminster. Went into the front door, was greeted by Marvin. Marvin welcomed me, we shook hands. Ushered me into the sanctuary, said, go in and have a seat. So I went in and had a seat. A few minutes later, he came and sat down with me. I was in a pew by myself. He sat down by me, we sang a song, and then Meredith came on. She was delivering her sermon. I was pretty amazed. It was biblical. She was teaching the scriptures. She was passionate. She was almost evangelical. We were on the same wavelength. I got it. I haven't missed a sermon in 2.5 years, except for one when I was fishing in Rockport. And the thing about it is that there is a community here, and her sermons bring us together as a community. That time with Marvin was precious. I haven't missed that time because I'm very engaged in this church. It is my next mission, the one that he said was coming. And this mission is kind of fun. I've taken up ushering, and I've taken up being a trustee for the church. Ushering is a very interesting experience. I had a very interesting experience, in fact, just a couple of months ago. I was ushering. A young lady walks in, I greet her. We exchange highs and stuff and invite her to come in and take a seat in the sanctuary. She does. A couple weeks later was Communion Sunday. She came back again. I was out ushering. I greeted her, invited her to come on in. And Meredith took care of the sacraments, the elements. We're getting ready to have the moment of peace, and I looked through the window in the back. This young lady comes up, kneels on the rail. I was stunned. Why? Because no one had kneeled at that rail in over 1.5 years. Next Communion Sunday, I came back, I was ushering. She came to church, I was here. I looked up after the sacraments. She didn't come to the rail. So I came down to the rail. I was there just a few seconds. Then she came down to the rail with me. It was the most amazing thing. There was a sense of peace that came over me. It came over the whole sanctuary. It was pervasive. I was in a state of grace. My mind was clear. I was totally at peace. It was everywhere. We have seen grace in this church because I was here when it happened. So I like ushering. Ushering is a good thing. You never know who's going to come in. You know, it might be a young Mike Cunningham looking for sanctuary. Might be this beautiful young lady come in, show us the way back to the rail. Might be a smiling young Marvin waiting to find a new home. And I want to be there when that happens because we have a mission. I've got my second mission. We've all got a mission. I believe that we are vessels of God's work. And our mission has been spoken by Meredith 100 times. It hasn't changed. Love God, make friends, serve others. Thank you for listening.